This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, guys, welcome to the MS support group. I am Kim. I am potentially the moderator tonight. I'm a little tired after my long road trip in bad weather, but I'm glad to be here. Let's see, diagnosed in 2012, relapsing remitting, currently on Ocrevus, and I am in Des Moines, Iowa tonight. Go ahead, John, introduce yourself, please.
Sorry, I had to
And
swallow the water that I just took when you said, "Hey, John, go." Um, hi, I'm John. I'm in Big Rapids, Michigan. I was diagnosed with RRMS in 2016. And yes, I would like a little bit of time tonight.
okay, great. Jennifer, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Jennifer. I'm from Richmond, Indiana, a Hoosier. Um, I was diagnosed in 2019. I take Abagio, and I do have things to tell you and get up to
Yes,
date.
we have missed you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Chris, Christy, you want to introduce yourself?
I am Christy. I am from Brighton, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver. I was diagnosed in 2003. I am currently on Ocrevus. And yes, I would like some time tonight. I need to catch you guys up on some stuff. Exciting
Excellent.
and sad. And sad. So,
Okay.
yeah.
It's great to hear you. Great for you to be here. Andrea, go ahead and introduce yourself. Welcome
Hi,
back.
I am Andrea. I am in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. I was diagnosed with relapsing MS in 2012, 11, 12, somewhere in there. I uh, just went off my medication for a 6 month hiatus, not hiatus, but hiatus. Um, and no, I don't think I have anything specific to talk about tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming. Amanda, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda. I was diagnosed with relapsing remitting in June of 2019. I live in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I am on Kesimpta, which I almost forgot what I'm on. And I'm eating dinner right now, so I am just here to listen and hear what we have to talk about. Happy to be
Okay.
here.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Amanda. And then do we have someone new tonight? Jessica, did you want to introduce yourself?
You're on mute, Jessica.
She's trying to connect to audio, she's saying.
Uh,
Okay, while we're waiting for Jessica to connect to audio, I'm gonna have Herb introduce himself. He's actually on the board and on part of all this stuff. So, do you want to introduce yourself, Herb? You might have stepped away. Are you ready, Herb?
Yeah,
Okay, we can hear you.
yeah. I mean, I'll tell you guys, I'm an inpatient at a hospital right now.
Oh,
John, you're muted.
All I said was, "Yeah, you are." Just
I've been having
recognized stuff.
I've been having some severe pain issues. And then finally yesterday I wrote to my doc and I said, I can't do this anymore. All I got is pain 24/7. And so she said, come in and we're going to admit you and figure out what the hell's going on.
Well, I hope that they can figure out what your pain is.
I hope so too.
Did you want to tell everybody how you're related to involved with AnCan? Because I will completely mess it up.
Well, I mean, all right. As you know, AnCan has many different groups. I'm in the prostate. I joined in the advanced prostate cancer group because that's my disease, and became active with with Rick and with AnCan, and became a moderator. And I'm also now a board member of AnCan. So, and I believe in AnCan as an organization and peer support like we're giving, very much so. And so, and because I'm also a scientist, a neuroscientist, I feel like I can contribute in various other ways to AnCan.
You still working at the NIH?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
in NIH, and that's where I'm a patient.
Good place.
I mean,
Good place.
I'm in the hospital, and 3 minutes down the street is my office.
Oh, that's not too bad if you have to go do
If I
some
want
work.
to go to my office, I can go.
Good luck to your office. Well, welcome, Herb, and glad you
So,
can join
and
us
I haven't, I
tonight.
mean, I have not done a lot with MS. I will be honest with you.
Well, this will be a good night to join us then.
I mean, I have, obviously, I know people, we know this, we know MS is due to oligodendrocyte loss, and we know that you lose nerve conduction, and we know there are ways in which people are trying to restore all that. And we also know it's an immune system problem. And so I have a little more than a layman's knowledge of MS. And I do read the literature. And some of my friends are really first-rate MS researchers. But I'm really here to support you guys.
All right. We're looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us. And I think Jessica has got her audio. Can you test it out, Jessica?
Hi, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Introduce
Perfect.
yourself. Welcome.
Hi. Sorry, my computer, this is my first time joining one of these calls, and of course, my audio and my video is not working on my computer, so I apologize. I'm going to be off camera. But I was diagnosed with MS almost a year ago to date, which is crazy to say. And I'm currently on Ocrevus, and I'm not sure if there's anything else I need to say.
Oh, where are you currently from?
Oh, well, I was born and raised in Maryland, right outside of DC, but I'm currently located in Atlanta, Georgia.
Ah, okay. And then
Where
how'd you hear about
outside?
AnCan? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, 2 questions were asked. What was it?
Yeah. How did you hear about AnCan?
I think I was just going on Google and just doing more research on MS and trying to find support groups. And I landed here, and I've been getting all the emails, and I actually found it really interesting because the email for this support group, I believe, came out yesterday, and there's actually something showing that there's a correlation between shingles and MS. And they actually believed I had shingles during my first major relapse episode. So I thought that was really fascinating. So I look forward to seeing all the other communications that are sent out. But that's how I found out about this.
Good. We're glad you came in. I know sometimes, Jessica, when I'm at the hotel and my Wi-Fi is super awful there, I will watch everything on my computer, but I'll dial in with my phone and just make sure that you have part of it muted so it doesn't have the crossover. But I do that sometimes if you have a problem with the audio. So, okay, well, let's just start out with Jessica. Did you want to tell us your story at all about how you came about this past year, or did you have any questions having a room full of people that have MS?
No, but I love telling my story whenever I'm asked, because I think it's really unique. And so I remember like everything to date. So I had to start before because it makes sense about how it
Thank
all
you.
started. But December 3rd, no, December 2nd, I went to the eye doctor, got a regular appointment, got my contact prescription, my eyeballs looked fine, no problem. December 3rd of last year, my fiance and I went to go get our COVID booster shots, and I tend to get severe migraines, so I started getting one that evening, and I came back home and I passed out on the couch, and I have horrible vision, so I had my glasses off, and so when I put them back on, it was like 11 p.m. My migraine was still there, but I noticed I couldn't see out of one of my eyes. I said, oh, it's too late. I just need to go back to bed. I woke up the next morning and still couldn't see, and it was a poor Saturday, so the eye doctor I went to was closed. So that Monday I had an emergency appointment. They did everything possible to look in my eye. My eye looked physically fine. Nothing was wrong. So I went to another eye doctor the next day, ended up finding out something was wrong with my optic nerve. It wasn't collecting as much as it should be. So then I was referred to a neurologist. I was told 6 weeks it was going to take to see them. Somehow magically got an appointment the next day. And then she noticed that I wasn't able to see brightness out of my right eye. And the thing that really got me was, I know when I was a kid, they would always make you like show a circle with a number and a color on the outside. And I couldn't tell that there was a number in that circle. So I knew something was wrong. Ended up getting an MRI a few days later, went back to the neurologist. And that's when she diagnosed me with MS because of the amount of lesions I already had on my brain. And so I ended up I had optic neuritis, and that was my first major relapse, major symptom I've had of MS. But looking back, I'm only 27, and I've had symptoms probably since I've been 20, but I just thought that was normal things. So really interesting to think back about all the symptoms I've had, and I just didn't know that was MS. So that's my story.
So where are you being treated now?
I'm being treated at the Shepherd Center in Atlanta. That's where all my care is at, and also my neurologist is connected to the Shepherd Center.
Hey, well, I'm glad you're able to find us. If you have any questions, just let us know. Carmen has come in, our friendly Canadian. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Carmen. I think I've got this right. You're from Canada, right? Am I remembering this correctly? It's been a
Yes,
long day.
yes, yes, you've got it right. Hi, Carmen from Canada. You
So
guys, I
actually,
don't know, I've had,
so
oh,
Jessica,
sorry.
so I would be more interested to know what treatment you're getting.
Hey, guys, sorry. I just want to say a quick hello, and I'm so glad to be here. I've had trouble with the link, so I'm just happy to be here. I'm turning the camera off because I'm still making dinner, but I'm here and I'm listening, and welcome, Jessica. But good to see you all.
Did you need time tonight, Carmen?
Just a little, just to check in. Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
I believe Jessica said that she was on Ocrevus for
Uh-huh.
treatment.
Okay. Okay.
Did they give you steroids or anything for the eyesight issues a year ago? Did they take you on Solumedrol?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was 3 days of steroid infusions, and then I was on pills after that, but my vision came back the first day of infusions, which was fantastic, and it was great to be able to drive home and see.
I had a similar thing happen to me in 2018 where I lost complete vision in my left eye, and then it slowly came back with steroids. So yeah. Been there. It is the craziest. I call it affectionately my LSD trip, because when my vision came back, it was like this mirage and waves, and it was just really funky. I've never done illicit drugs, but I affectionately call it my LSD trip, because that's what it felt like. It was just this dreamlike, wave-like state. So, okay, Jennifer, go ahead and fill us all in since you're on the East Coast, and I want to get to you before it gets super late out there.
I have insomnia, so it's whatever. Okay, well, Jessica, wow, my story, like your story. I was sitting on the couch and I had this salt lamp, and I was doing this, and I was like, what the heck? Nothing. Zip zero, nothing in my right eye. It was crazy. I was like, what is going on? So my cousin's an eye doctor. I said, help me. Like, what is going on? And then my eye was going this way, so it looked really good. And it was a month before my wedding. So I was like, but luckily I got my eyesight back and my eye went right. Oh, it was scary. So that was scary, yes. So anywho, okay. I haven't been on here for a while because they got me like crazy busy. Um, I had to walk with a cane for last week and a little bit this week, probably because of stress. I did go out of my comfort zone. This was intense training, intense, like body, like it was crazy. So I thought it was a great idea to sign me and my staff up for a certified car seat technician to make sure infants' car seats, go in right in children's car seats. That's a great idea. Okay, it was a 5-day, 8 hours of. You don't think that how many hours is it to try to put a car seat in? Blows my mind. So not only are you tested for this physically, but mentally you have to remember this shit. And I can't remember anything. But the lady, I'm telling you what, that wonderful, wonderful teacher, her mama has MS. And I got benched the one day because I was overheated. But she's like, you remind me of my mama. You can go sit down. We're going to finish this, but you got to go sit down. So I felt like first defeated a little bit. It was defeated, but she helped me through the whole rest of the week. And I was so appreciative of her. And now I'm a certified car seat technician. So, and we just continue to teach safe sleep, and we're getting out there and in 6 counties in Indiana, and hopefully make a change and improve babies' lives. That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
It's good to know that people who have been certified in car seats are thoroughly trained.
It's crazy. Like you're putting luckily I'm a big girl, so I just used all the weight I had. My hands weren't working right, but that's okay. They were tight in there.
Persisted and got through. That's awesome. Tim has come in. Tim, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Oh, yeah, sure. My computer's doing funny things right now, so I'm doing this on my phone. But hi, I'm Tim. I live here in Virginia. CIS is my diagnosis, and I'm on Abagio, amantadine, which, if I don't think about it, I can say it, and gabapentin right now. So that's me.
Did you need any time tonight, Tim?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. And then Jennifer, did you want to add anything else, or should I go on to the next person? You're done? Okay.
Kim, sorry, I just wanted to ask Jennifer a couple questions because you're
Absolutely.
talking about infant car seats. Where do you work? Like, what kind of work do you do? I'm just so
I
curious.
am okay. So I'm the life program manager, and it's through a safety pin grant. So we try to improve and advocate and women's health, and especially babies. We're losing a lot of our infants and fetal demises. So my job is to investigate the fetal and infant deaths in the 6 counties, and then try to see what holes are in those cases, whether it's women not getting treated right and not being heard in their in the prenatal visits.
Hmm.
A lot of them are due to maybe drug addiction. We have that a lot. It's everywhere. But I'm a drug and alcohol counselor. I have been for 20
Okay.
years. So this, I had to take a step down from that, but I'm still involved in that because
We
it's,
might have to connect privately because I used to work with the Nurse Family Partnership Program. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's with high
yes.
risk young mums.
Is
And
that
I
through
just
Goodwill?
No, I'm in Canada, so it's through
Canada.
our
Okay.
governmental health system. And sorry to bore all you guys, but it just piqued my ears. And good for you for I had no idea that a car seat technician, it took 5 days. Like, my God, holy cow.
For what? 5 days for what? It's called.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. I thought you meant it was for what? Anyway, thanks. We might need
I'll
to
get with
talk.
you, Carmen.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Should we move on to the next person? Does anyone else have any comments before we go to the next one? Okay, John, go ahead. Tell us what's been going on.
I have a couple things. One's pretty serious, but one is also serious. So, you know, so I had a really bad head cold over the weekend, and I didn't know that I was that on the line of being able to get literally off the couch or to stand up or even get out of bed. So it freaked me out that, all weekend long I felt like shit. So did Melissa, my wife. She was just as sick as no, sicker than I was, and she's trying to push me around and cart me around and help me get off of a seat and stuff. Um, so after an hour and a half of trying, I we finally just called 911 for a lift assist, and they were there in like 5 minutes, and all three of them knew me because they'd been to the house before. So like, oh yay, it's him. This is gonna be all right. Um, but it took three of them to get me from the couch to my chair, from my chair to my bed into a comfortable position. It was scary and it sucked. Um, I felt useless. Um, I pooped the bed one night. Like I was trying to get out of bed to try to maybe not go in the bed and fail. But I have been feeling better. Like today has been, well, shit, I took a shower this morning. Like I got in the shower by myself, got out of the shower by myself. My hair is super soft. I need a haircut too. But today has been more of a success. But check this out. Yesterday morning, I just put something on Facebook about like, hey, neither of us can maintain our house this week. There's chores that need to be done. Um, we're bickering a lot because these things keep piling up. And it was really, I don't want to, humbling to say, hey, send me a message if you're willing to help with anything. So, my friend Sarah's coming over tomorrow to vacuum. She's driving an hour to come to vacuum, and she's bringing lunch and dinner. On Saturday, my friend Matt is going to put the garage together, like get things moved around. Um, People like offering, hey, I'll pay for a couple hours for my maid to come over and do the deep cleaning. So I turned a very humiliating weekend. Hi, dog butt. um, Into something positive, and it was people that I hadn't talked to in let's be honest, 6 years, just Facebook friends from home and say, like, hey, shoes, whatever you need. Like, have you met my wife? She said, no, I haven't. Listen, I've been together for 8 years. So, um, and just a lot of good uh, came from that. And it was really, I saw the sun yesterday, you know, like my friend Matt, he's helped me move 3 times, doesn't care, just wants to help. And then, so he'll be here on Saturday. And he's like, John, Melissa, hit me with hard stuff. Like make a to-do list that's for real. Need me to clean the fish tank? Exactly. Things like that. So we're making up a honey-do list. And yeah, I had to be vulnerable, super duper vulnerable. But there was I had no pride left. Like I had nothing holding me back. And I think that this whole year I can really reflect back on the generosity of my friends. Um, they bought me 2 ramps. They're gonna buy me a Hoyer lift. Just things like that, and just showing up out of nowhere. You know, um, there's a big difference between, hey, let me know how I can help, and how can I help you, or what can I do for you. Um, and the difference is outstanding. You know, yeah. And that wasn't that was all good news, right? I seek some advice from our friends that have been for a while. How do you show a like let's just say, how do I get my mom and dad to believe that my life gets shitty sometimes? Like how do I sometimes I think they don't believe that I have MS. You know? Like they're in denial, I think is the words for it. Sorry about that, get a little sniffy. Um but yeah, like any advice on how to just make it real without making it angry and driving them further away? Any advice? If
I
not,
think
So,
that's cool.
so,
we
so
let them see it, because I think a lot of times, and that kind of goes with the theme that you just said of like, we want to put our best foot forward. We tend to hide when we can't get out of bed, when we can't do things. So all people see is the happy-go-lucky version of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it takes that vulnerability to just be like, I'm having a shit day. I legit can't get out the bed. Like, I haven't eaten today because I can't make it to the kitchen. And
Could
they have
someone bring
to,
me toast?
yeah, they have to see that. But I think it's really hard for us to put that forward because it's vulnerable. We don't want people to see that. I know for me, it makes me feel broken and it's not my version of myself. So it's like I just do what I can to hide it. And it's like kind of like a Quasimodo kind of thing. It's like I'm gonna just stay in and not let anybody see me until like I'm the best version of myself. And then I think by doing that though, people are just like, well, you're always happy, you're always bubbly, you're always full of energy, but you don't see me when I'm like in the fetal position on the floor on those
Yeah.
days.
I mean, Amanda, we've known each other for, I don't know, like a yearish now. And, Kim, Christy, Karen, the whole group. I don't know where I was going with that, other than thank you for all of your great advice and things like that. And I really appreciate all of you. Okay? So much.
John, thank you for sharing what you've just shared, John. I want to put my heart out to you and tell you that you are not alone. Um, After going through surgery and being completely knocked down to almost bedridden, I know exactly what you're talking about. having a spouse have to clean up your mess and not make it to the bathroom and all of it. It's just so like it's like they can see inside of every worst part of you and it just feels so uncomfortable. But thank God I do have a spouse that loves me and takes care of me. It sounds like you do too. I wish that your family would be more supportive, but I'm grateful that you have friends that are so supportive. And
Yeah.
it gives me actually some encouragement to actually be a little bit more honest because most people don't even know I have MS. And I need to be more honest and truthful so that I can actually be in a place where I can ask for help and accept help.
Yeah.
So you have just given me some courage, and I want to thank you for that. So um, even though
Thank you,
I know
Carmen.
that you're emotional and whatever about it, but it also has given me some courage. So thank you. And honestly, my heart is with you because I have those days
Thank you.
too. And
So,
I've
Thank
gone
you.
through a bad part where I just was that, and it's not a good feeling. So
Thank you, Carmen. That's really nice of you. Um, I also had acid burns from my urine on my back from just peeing the bed and not being able to get out or falling asleep. And it's really easy to like fix, but it takes a couple of days to fix. So that's like another thing that sucked about this weekend. Um, but it's behind us. The actual sun came out today, which is a rarity for Michigan this time of year, or lots of times a year. So it's been a good day, and I hope to keep going tomorrow, and so on. And I really want my doctor to schedule an appointment with me this week so I can switch my antidepressants because I've been on Zoloft for 6.5 years,
Mhm.
and it may have worn out its welcome, right? I see Andrea nodding, like, yeah, that'll happen. That will totally happen. So I don't want to take up any more time. Thank you, everyone. You guys are all great. You're amazing. Thank you.
Well, Jen, just let me say, um, I don't think my mom really, she believed that I had MS, but I don't think she understood the severity
Yeah.
um, until one day she came over for a visit, and oh my goodness, I was going through spasms so bad that I couldn't talk. I couldn't do anything but cry because they were hurting so bad. And I think that was the turning point that my mom realized the severity of what MS has done to my quality of life. So I agree with everybody. I think people need to see what you're going through and to understand, and I mean, I think even like people who have told me in the past, well, you're just you're just making an excuse. Everything is an excuse. It's not an excuse.
It's a
Like,
reason.
yeah, you don't know what's going on through my brain and why I can or cannot do something or why I can do it a little bit this day but can't do it now, and that's just and I think a lot of people um who know me know that I'm very closed off about talking about my MS and the difficulties that I have with it. And a lot of them don't really grasp it until they actually see something. That's horrible to say. And it should be something that people shouldn't like think that you're lying about something just because they
Yeah.
see you in good spirit all the
Like
time.
what am I getting out of lying about this?
Right. I benefit nothing from it.
Like, cool,
So,
I'm in a wheelchair. Woohoo.
right. And,
So,
people may see it as me, like somebody trying to be lazy,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, okay. I prefer to sit for the rest of my life. I've
Yeah,
got
like
two fingers that you can spin on. It's
nailed
like,
it.
But
So
I think part of the problem, especially that I personally have, is I don't want to go around all day every day. Oh, my leg really hurts. Oh, my back really hurts. Oh, my arm really hurts. Oh, my skin hurts when I touch it here. I don't go around doing that. I go around saying, "Hi, are you having a happy day?" "Yeah, I'm
yeah,
doing great." And
well,
so
yeah,
people don't know.
that is reasonable, but I'm just saying, like, the people who are closest to you, like family members, your friends, that have known you long enough to know, well, that can't be because you're always in good spirits. You're always happy. You're always this, you're always that. You're always willing to do this. So you're always, it doesn't hurt to be vulnerable in front of those people so they can actually see what you go through. So they can, I mean, I'm not saying walk around like, oh, I have spasms like 90% of my day. I'm just saying,
Hey,
with the people that are closest to, let them see you be vulnerable.
and that's where I struggle. I
I
mean,
do
I have a
too.
friend that I've had for 30 years. He didn't understand until I landed on the floor uh, from a muscle cramp. And then he's like, "Oh my gosh."
Right.
So so John, I guess what I'm saying is don't be so hard on yourself.
yeah, I'm doing better with that.
Good.
What I have learned in my 10 years of having MS and being diagnosed from it is originally I didn't want to really share it. And well, for part because I was working, so I couldn't put anything on Facebook in case I had to change jobs. When I quit my job like 6.5 years ago, it's like, okay, well, that's not a factor anymore. And I have found out that me being open and honest and very vulnerable with people is where I really connect with people. That's where so for me, and vulnerability is tough. It's very humbling. It can be very humiliating. But for me, I found with my experience, that's where the magic happens. That's where the relationships, that's where I can break down walls really, really fast with people. And I know that when you want to help somebody, like right now, I have a couple of people having cancer. I don't know what they want. So when John says, "Hey, I need help. What can you do?" Then the people are like, "Okay, this is what I can do." And they love helping you out, John. I mean,
Yeah,
people, they want to
yeah,
help you. I mean, they feel so amazing to help pay for cleaning, help, get your garage. Like they are all over it because they want to do, because they care about you. And I just think for me, my experience, when I allow myself to be vulnerable, it's good for everybody. And my honesty and being raw with people has been very, very beneficial. But is it tough to like break down in front of people or just say, I'm having a really bad day and just crumble? Yes.
yes,
But in the long run, it's very beneficial for everyone around, the connection with people that I have and the understanding. And I think that's where it goes into your question about how do your parents, how do you get them to understand what you deal with? I don't shield people away from what I'm experiencing. I don't go out of my way to like I'm having a crappy day, but like they can tell, or if I'm struggling, they know. Like my dad, it was really weird for him one day. I was at the office and I was like crying. He's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I have to go home." He's like, "What's the problem?" Like, "I am in so much pain now. I have to go home." And it just totally threw him for a loop. He's like, he didn't get it because he doesn't experience it. But I think they get slowly with time. And he knows me before MS, and and it's just so weird to be like, what do you mean this one thing, you just like within 20 minutes you doing something completely brand new that's you're not familiar with will completely drain your energy for the rest of the day. It's just really weird with MS how some things really give me energy and other things will drain me super, super fast. So I just commend you for allowing yourself to be vulnerable and kind of hitting that bottom with your frustration of we can't do anything with the house right now, and reaching out to your friends and having their response. And I think that you realize that was probably the best thing possible that you could have done for yourself
Right.
and for your friends. And
Like I can't wait
so
to talk to my therapist on Friday. I
yeah, I
can't
mean,
wait
and
to
like something that was like the suckiest thing ever now turned into this amazing, wonderful thing where people are meeting your wife. I mean, this is amazing. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and like, a lot of people they want to help, but they're just like, I don't know how to help. Like, do if I just show up to my friend that has cancer, am I gonna be like annoying, like in her way, like what are you doing here, or am I gonna be helpful? So I just love it that you did that and you saw the benefits. And so that's what I've learned with my life in the past 10 years of MS is that the benefits outweighs my my emotional and physical discomfort in the long run. And I've learned being vulnerable is like a really good place for me to be and not to shy away from it and to be very open and honest because a lot of amazing stuff happens in that space for me.
Thanks, everyone. Before I pass the microphone off to whomever else, I just want to say that my mom's mom, grandma, good old grandma, is the one that believes that I'll grow out of MS. Like, hey, grandma, I have MS. Don't worry, you'll grow out of it. So that's about the level that they believe. It's funny to me. Thanks, everyone.
You're welcome. Does anyone else want to comment before we go on to the next person?
Well, John, I want to thank you for sharing. I mean, I have a different disease, but the vulnerabilities are the same, and we don't like to talk about them. It just, because it makes you different. You're not normal anymore. I mean, at least for me, the day I got my diagnosis was like, and I'm sure it's the same for everybody in the group. Like there was that day before and the day after, and they're different worlds. So I think it also shows that really our friends do care about us, but you got to give them an opening. You can't just
You,
push
you
them
got to
out.
show them how to care for you.
Right. You can't just say, oh, I don't want you. I'm not deserving or whatever. I think the issue really is how to, you know, basically work it in so that everybody understands that they do it because they really do care about you.
Yeah, I have an amazing friend group. So, all right, next.
Well, we're going to have Karen introduce herself since she has come in, and then we'll go on to the next person. So fire away, Karen.
I'm cranky today, but Jennifer made me feel better.
Good job, Jennifer.
But I did want to comment on John's because, well, I know different people. I don't, it's constant. It's constant. And no matter where I go, you seem fine. I walk with a walker. Okay, a lot of people do. No, they don't. No, they don't. Like, I don't see people on the street that much with walkers, and if they do, they're a lot older than me. So no, they don't. But I think the way an MS messes with your emotions on so many levels, and like lack of sleep, and I have to sleep. Why can't you get up early? Why can't you do this? You seem fine, and it's John is not alone. It just people just constantly, it doesn't end. It's like at the store or whatever, I go, what part of, like, I think they think I'm walking with a baby carriage or something. Like, what part I need help. I went to a store near me. It's a natural food store, and you have to like take a bag and put stuff in the bag, and it's like, well, I have a paralyzed hand, and you got to write down the tag number and the twisty. And I asked this guy for help, and it's just like he didn't want to help me. And then I got home and I found out I got charged $10 extra or something. So I at least knew someone's name at the store. And I said, listen, and I went home not getting what I want. Like I think the cognitive is so hard for anyone to grasp. I'm really sorry that I'm not babbling incoherently and drooling, but my brain doesn't work. The other day I was like, how much is 8 times 7? I don't know. Let me think. It's 49 plus 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay. And then people just say, well, that's so what? That could happen to anyone. And it's like, but my whole day is like that. My whole day is like that. Wait, where did I just, why did I moved some, that I constantly have to strategize and not to put something in a different jar in a different place. So, and it just, and if I don't sleep enough, I'm just really messed up. And it's like, well, can't you just pull it together? No, I cannot just pull it together. I don't want to pull it together. So, I think the mental health thing, I still never read that book, just really, it just makes everything even harder with MS. And the cognitive, because we don't sound stupid, but when you know how smart you were before. So I'm Karen in Oakland.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Karen.
Go ahead. No, I'm done.
I was just wanting to say something about the whole cognitive and getting my wording out. My boss was telling me the other day, because when we do these infant fetal reviews, there's some words on there I can't even pronounce regular words, let alone medical words. And so I'm trying to explain this to him. He goes, "Well, you need to practice." I said,
Ah!
I tried to say the word and anencephaly. I can't still say it. I can't say it. Like, I tried, I heard it, I tried, and he was like, "Well, you need to do better." And I'm like, everybody else on my team is okay because I'm very vocal. Like, look, I have MS and I can't even talk half the time. I can't even say the words that are small, but using those big medical words, fuck you. Like, I can't. So yeah, that's the problem. I get that. The words is just horrible. And my cognitive, mm, that's my problem too, Miss Karen.
But you seem fine.
It's all in my head.
Someone told me that
I
right after I got diagnosed. She said, it's all in your head. It's like, it
Karen,
is.
I was about to come through my damn computer and hit you for saying that.
You're saying
I was
what?
just like, you're saying it's all in your head. I was like, oh my god, I will come through this. Just
But it
joking, of
is all in
course.
your head. It's a brain
Yeah,
disease.
yeah. Oh, I forgot another appointment. Kim, you're muted.
Sorry, my dog is throwing a bone around and being super, super loud right now. So, Karen, did you need any time tonight?
No, I don't think so. But can I tell you my
Okay,
big word that I actually was able to get out?
sure.
Do
And
it.
then go to the next word.
Obstetrician. Obstetrician. And it comes from obstetrics, but I was like, and then I was talking to two people, oh, so and so, so obstetrician, like when I lost it, but I was like, wow,
Use it in a sentence.
obstetrician?
Yeah. What does it mean?
Okay, I'm trying to think who can be, like somebody, it was like obstetrician is, I could be, it's more like other people, it's pointing a finger at them, they're just interfering with the process that needs to happen, and she's being so obstreperous. What? I'm stretched now. I got it confused again
Why did you
because
do
I
it? Why was
the
it?
word, and it comes from obstetrics. And I was talking to a friend who was a labor and delivery nurse. Because I don't know how to say it either, so I taught myself how to say it. Obstetrician. So and so is being so obstreperous with the process. Putting all these barriers in there.
I was actually at work on a telehealth call. I'm not telehealth, but a Zoom meeting to Boston with like big companies and doctors. And I'm like, oh, it's cool to finally be back in Boston, Massachusetts. Like I just wanted to get the word out of my damn mouth, and I didn't care how it got there.
I bet they did. But can I ask a question? Is Herb being Rick today?
Am I being?
Yeah.
Rick's gonna stop in later tonight.
Yeah,
He
I'm
was
I'm being
super
Rick.
busy. Okay, let's move on now to Christy then. What did you want to talk about tonight, Christy?
Sorry, I was having spasms, so that's when you see my video cut off because you guys don't want to see my spasm faces. Well, anyway, okay, so last time I was on, I talked about the baclofen pump, and this last Thursday, I went for the trial where they just injected some into my spinal cord, and um, so they called me today, and I have a surgery date of 12:30 to get it implanted. And you want to talk about hard medical words that are hard? It's not a hard word, but it is for me, and I'm probably saying it incorrectly. Intrathecal? Intrathecal?
No, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
That's
Perfect.
correct. 100%. Excellent.
Well,
Perfect.
that it usually comes out with I can't even like wrongly say it now because I said it correctly, but give me time. But yeah, so people ask, well, what is the pump? I was like, well, they put an God, here it is. Intrathink, interthinkle. I can't say it now. Dang
Intrathecal.
it. Intrathinkle tube from the spine, and then the pump gets installed or like implanted underneath your skin. In ways, the way it was described to me was that it's like not directly on your side. It's about from your side to your belly button, somewhere in the middle, and then it's somewhere by your waistline. I don't know, but yeah. So that is pretty amazing. I got the trial, and oh my good word, I experienced one evening with absolutely zero spasms. It
Oh, that's
was
so awesome.
amazing. Like I didn't think it was possible. Like, and Kim, I talked to your friend, is it Tracy?
Mhm.
Yeah, I talked to Tracy, and I was, she did say, that that she's had it for about 5 years, I think she was saying, 5 or 7, I can't remember, memory issues. Uh, but she said that, it was night and day for her. And, I was still skeptical just because, that's just how my brain works. Like, I take oral baclofen and I don't feel like it does anything for me of significance. And oh, and by the way, Kim, she doesn't have it replaced every year.
I thought she had to have something done, like cleaned out or something yearly. I thought she had to some kind of
No,
procedure.
no. What
That's why
basically
you're supposed to talk to her firsthand, because I'll tell you wrong.
basically what happened is that the interthecal uh tube came disconnected. So they had to redo the surgery to reattach it because it's like she's like, I know it stopped working. And I kept telling my doctor that the baclofen wasn't working like it was supposed to. And she's like, finally, they believed me, and they did like a X-ray or ultrasound or something like that and saw that it had disconnected. So, but she says, no, I have never had it replaced uh every year. She's like, no, I just go in for the medicine fills.
I knew
And
she
I,
went in for surgery yearly for something. I didn't know exactly what it was.
yeah, so, so yeah, so that's it. Um, so yeah, that kind of relieved me that I didn't have to do that yearly. But yeah,
Christy, I
so,
am so glad that it worked for you because there's a chance. Is that what you were saying? Like it sometimes works for people and sometimes doesn't?
well,
The
it wasn't that per se. It was just that um sometimes it didn't do the full effect, but it was very rare
Hmm.
that it didn't, because it's like directly feeding the medicine directly to the source and not
Hmm.
having to go through your digestive system and breaking
Right.
down, and only like maybe 10% of the medicine,
Hmm.
actually hitting your system. But
Well,
yeah,
anyway, I'm just so glad that it like it's like a light at the end of the tunnel or something, right? Because your spasms are affecting you so much. So what a great piece of news that is for you. I'm so
yeah,
happy.
I am too, and I'm happy that it's coming sooner than I thought. Because when I was talking with the doctor at the time that he did the trial, he said that, now it's another hard part with insurance approval, um, because he's like, I don't know what it is, but insurance is stupid. That's what he told me. And I'm like, yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Um, but he said it would take about 3 to 4 weeks to get insurance approval, and then it would take whatever availability they have to um, do this, perform the surgery. So when she called today, I was like, "So does this mean insurance was approved?" And I was speaking with his PA, and she's like, "Well, all they're waiting on is for my report back to them." And she said the person that she's been dealing with, or that their scheduler and insurance person has been dealing with, has been told that if everything looked good, then they would approve it right away. So they scheduled me for the 30th, and she said the only reason it's going to change is if something else through insurance comes up, but she doesn't see that it will. So I was just like, I was telling Jamie, that's his PA, I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I was about ready to go smack Dr. Gasquire. And she's like, why? And I said, for giving me a night of pleasure and then telling me I had to wait 3 to 4 weeks, possibly longer. She starts laughing. She goes, well, it's not 3 to 4 weeks. And I was like, yes, thank you. I was like, because I probably would have come undone on somebody, because this year has been nothing but a waiting game. And it's frustrating. So I was very, very excited to see that, it got pushed sooner than later. And also, it's falling into this calendar year's medical, which I'm not too concerned, because I'll be hitting my out of pocket again for next year as of January 6th, when I have my next infusion. So, but at the same time, I was worried, like, well, if they do it on the 8th, then would the insurance have the billing from my from Ocrevus that that I was infused in time. And so yeah, there's a lot of concern there, but I'm just glad it's going to hit this year, and it's already a zero out of pocket, or like I don't have to pay anything for it, which I'm pretty sure my insurance company hates me, because I've gotten a lot done this year and paid $0 for it. So that was my exciting news. Now on to my not so exciting news. I spoke with my little sister last Friday, and she is getting tested for MS, and it does not look good. And the funny thing is that we're not full blood. We share the same dad, different moms, but her mom had MS, like pretty bad. Um, and she actually passed away 5 years ago due to complications with her MS. So my little sister is freaking out. I just haven't talked to her in a couple weeks, and I was talking to her and I said, "So what's new with you? I haven't talked to you in a while." And she just broke down crying. And she's like, "I am next in line." I was like, "What do you mean you're next in line?" She's like, "To to have MS." And I'm like, "Oh, sister," I was like, "please don't freak out." I was like, "It has advanced so much even since I got diagnosed 20 years ago." I was like, "The medications are incredible now." And the sad part is that she grew up taking care of her mom with MS, and her mom passes away due to complications of MS, and her mom was 59 when she passed away. And and then there's me. She knows we're like the only two people that she knows that has MS. I did well up until this last year when I had the rebound during a change in DMTs. And so that's how she pictures MS, is the doom and gloom, um, and the bad parts of MS. I was like, yeah, I was like, if it does come back that, you are officially diagnosed with MS, I'm here for you. I have pretty much gone through everything. Um, Plus, you need somebody to talk to. It's not a, when you want to talk to somebody, it's a need. You need to speak to somebody, whether it be your husband or it could be me. I was like, but I honestly lean on me more than your husband. And she's like, well, thank you. And I was like, so she's waiting now to get the results back. She had a brain scan. They did find the lesions, but she's only been talking to a radiologist who took the brain scan, and I guess he's saying that he does see the lesions, but he can't tell if there's any demyelination um, on the lesions. So she went back for the two other lovely scans of the C and T um, spine scans. And so once they get those back, they're going to refer her to a neurologist. So, I mean, I want to say that it's not a possibility, but just what she explained to me on her symptoms, I'm like, well, it's a great like possibility. She what caused her to go to the doctor to get these tests done was, first she started off with vertigo, like a really bad case of vertigo. And then she was getting massive amounts of fatigue to where she was wanting to sleep all the time. And her husband was like, you just got up from a nap. Why are you wanting to go take another nap? She's like, I'm just tired. And then recently she just got what is called ptosis.
Mhm.
And so she's got a lot of drooping in her eyebrow and eyelid on her right side.
Good.
And so it's just those signs.
A little bit of pain.
Okay.
So I told her, or I asked her, I said, do you have any tingling anywhere? She said, in her toes. She said she's never experienced it before. So, and now she's like, she has this bad habit of shutting down. So I've been texting her every day and trying to call her every day, and I haven't heard anything from her, and just letting her know I'm checking in on her and I'm thinking about her. And she hopefully she's doing okay, and hopefully she hears back soon. She's with Kaiser, so I don't know how quickly they move along with something like this. So hopefully, um, I told her, I said, just make sure, I tried to give her some advice to make sure that whoever she gets as a neurologist, that they're actually educated in MS so that they can give you the correct advice and lead you in the correct direction. Um, I was like, if you weren't with Kaiser, I'd definitely refer you to my neurologist because that's all she does is MS. Um,
But that's what I have. Where is she in Kaiser? Like, what location?
she's in Colorado,
Because
Westminster.
here's what I mean. Even now, I think I wouldn't understand it. The first neuro who I just wrote about said, "Well, I don't see any cognitive issues." He said, "I don't think you have MS," even though I did, and even though I had the positive. He said, "Well, you should go see a demyelinization specialist." I could say obstreperous, and I never heard of intrathecal, but a demyelinization specialist. I mean, even in the world of MS, has anybody even heard that referred? Yeah, and he kept saying I should go see a demyelinization specialist, and then
I've
he
never
referred
heard of
me, so he referred me, and this is within Kaiser, and then I got this questionnaire with like A through Z plus AA, like 30 questions. Have you ever had, all these things about MS? And then I said, well, I mean, why are they referring me? Why are they referring me to a demyelinization specialist? I don't have, why are they asking me all these questions about MS? And I'm a nurse and I never heard of it. I mean, I think doctors too, they really don't understand what nurses know and don't know. They have no idea what you do know and don't know. But so at Kaiser, just kind of tell her there is essentially an MS specialist, but a demyelinization, because any neuro can say they know about it. They can say it, but I got lucky because I found two of them, but one left, but I still have the good one. And she even told me the people they wanted to refer me to, she said, you wouldn't be happy with them, that they're just not, yeah.
But yeah, I just said, just make sure that you have a neurologist that you're comfortable with and they know about MS.
No, that they
And
specialize in it, that they
Yeah,
specialize in it.
yeah.
Because with me, it was like, well, he dabbles in it. And it's like, he dabbles? No, I don't want a dabbler. I
okay,
want
Right.
somebody who's and I see the difference because my MS specialist, demyelinization specialist, has an RN who's attached to her. And she always answers the phone or she gets back to me and she always takes care of stuff. Nobody else gets that.
I would argue
right,
that in fact, for any of our specialized diseases, you need a specialist. That a general neurologist is not going to know the ins and outs of MS. They're not going to be reading the MS literature. They're not talking to their colleagues and going to meetings. So I, I support the idea 100%. Yes, we need people who know about demyelinization, what myelin is, right? And the idea that MS is, and they also need to know immunology, right? They need to
right,
be they need to be a neurologist, but they better know their immunology.
And they also need to know when you have, 50 different tests for MS, and one of them was spinal, heart. That was like the most disgusting thing I've ever been through in my life because I felt like if this is my spine, I felt like someone was over here. And I said, it feels like you're on the side. He goes, no, I'm right in the middle of your spine. And then I just freaked out. Like, what's going on with me? Why can't, I just really freaked out. And he had a resident with him. And I said, you're not doing this. You're not doing that. You're not the one who's doing it. And then he held my hand. I think I broke his fingers. He learned something. But here it said positive. Oh God, now I can't say it, but I did know how to say it. Oligoclonal bands. But that sounds positive, right? No, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. And when I asked him, Well, how come you didn't see it? He goes, oh, well, I was looking for relapse and remission. It's like, but I'm almost 70. Why were you looking for a disease for somebody who is in their 20s? And I fit the profile for primary progressive. So yeah, someone who knows all of it and reads the literature. And I know a lot of people hate Kaiser, but I've been lucky. I'm not lucky every day when I beat my head against the wall, but I have a great primary care doctor who does body work on me. That's amazing. But I fight. I push him out of the way. But just so you know that, and I don't know if that particular neurologist said ionization specialist, but apparently, there were two others, and they're like, oh yeah, I look into MS. So yeah, you just need a demyelinization specialist or an
Yeah,
MS specialist.
Does
I will
anyone
definitely
else?
let her know.
I was just asking, anyone else here have relatives that also have MS? I know I'm the only one in my extended family that has MS.
My
No?
sister was diagnosed when she was 24, 25 with relapsing remitting, and I'm 13 months older than her, and I was so grateful that it wasn't me. And then my mom started showing symptoms, and she was diagnosed with secondary progressive around the same time that I was diagnosed with primary progressive. So, yep, it's in my family, and it's from my mom's side, her aunt. Um, she wasn't with her that side of the family, but she's heard that her aunt had it. So when I hear people say that it's not genetic, I mean, yes, okay, there's triggers because not every single person in my genetic line has it, but it's just, I get so upset when people say, oh, it's not a genetic disease. Bullshit. Anyway, so Christy, I'm feeling for you and for your sister, and it's so great that you're able to be a support and also provide information for her when she's ready, that you're there and that you're letting her know that you're there.
I also did throw out to her the group. I said,
Yeah,
you
have her
know,
come join us.
yeah, and I said it doesn't take up much of your time. It's um 2 times a month. I was like, I think you can afford 2 times a month, but when you're ready, I was like, there's plenty of people that we have newly diagnosed, and we have people who have been diagnosed for years. I was like, so just know that there's support out there for you outside of me. But I encourage you to get support. I was like, not only will it help guide you through anything that you're going through that, say, I haven't gone through, because I go, as you know, everybody's different with MS, that we all have different symptoms and different severities of symptoms. I was like, so please feel free to ask me how you could, I was like, if you want to jump in, then I was like, everybody there is just great, and they all help any way that they can. I was like, I've been seeing them for a year and a half. Holy crap, I've been coming for a year and a half. I just realized that. But I mean, I was like, it's nice to have that external support and to have that, you know. And she said, okay, well, and I said, if anything, I can send you YouTube videos. And so you get like an idea of what we talk about, stuff like that. She's like, okay, you know, but yeah, so it kind of broke my heart to hear her cry and think that her life was ending. So,
Glad that you were
it,
able to support her. Speaking of
yeah.
newly diagnosed, Louie has come into the chat. Louie, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I just got home. So let's see. I've been listening. Okay. Oh yeah. So I'm Louis. Was diagnosed November 30th of last year, and with relapsing remitting, and I'm on Ocrevus. Yeah.
Did you need any time tonight, Louis?
I kind of like maybe like a slight vent, kind of curious on y'all's opinion on something. Yeah.
Okay, let me swing to. I think Carmen wanted to talk, and then I'll swing back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. It wasn't urgent or anything. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're able to make it. Carmen, did you wanted to talk tonight? My notes are scribbles tonight, so I might be screwing up here.
It's, you know what, actually, it's so interesting. I really was determined to get here tonight, and I mentioned that I had a bit of a hard time because the invite comes in the email, but the link doesn't work in there. So I had to like scramble and go onto the AnCan site and all this stuff. And I was like desperate to get here, and I understand why now. Because sometimes you just get what you need. And honestly, I want to thank all of you because everything that's come up, and I'm sorry I've been talking a lot. I feel like I've just been chiming in everywhere, but everything has been so meaningful tonight. And I'm so grateful for this group. And now what was I going to say? Oh, I guess I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update about like where I'm at because I talked with John about how bad things were, and my surgery was 5.5 months ago now, and I mean I am working my ass off. I am basically treating my health as my full-time job. I went on long-term disability last June, so a year and a half ago basically, and then I had my surgery almost 6 months ago, and I've been working honestly. I treat my health as my full-time job. I have chiro a number of times a week, sorry, right now. I see my physiotherapist assistant who comes to my house. I'm so grateful I have this. She comes to my house to help me work out, basically. I mean, work out, it's like it's not like well, no, I do break a sweat once in a while. I am trying to learn to get up off the floor, and I wanted to tell John that too. Like I am so with him. I was stuck on the floor once, and we almost did call 911, although my husband helped me up. But like I've been down at the very bottom, and I'm so grateful to be getting back to where I almost was pre-surgery. I'm able to get around with a cane now. I even walk without a cane sometimes if I'm going into a store that's just a small little distance and it's more of a hassle to have my cane. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys an update, but I'm totally overdoing it and I'm paying for it in the evening. Like I have no energy left, and so I'm having to really have some serious words with myself about what I'm taking on and what I'm doing because I don't have much left for anything else. And I was scrambling to make dinner here. That's why I was on and off the camera. Now I'm laying in my bed with my heating pad and my blanket and my cat, in case you guys didn't see, but here she is, keeping me company. Say hello. Anyway, all of the things that we've talked about tonight have just been so meaningful. So thank you all. That was basically it.
I think you make a great point, Carmen, about overdoing it. And I have learned. So, starting in mid-October, I was really having problems with fatigue, like really bad fatigue again. And 3 years ago, I was bedbound for about 5.5 months. So that was always like my fear, like I might get to that point. And I tell you, I really took care of myself this time. And because I was at the point where food was ready to eat or microwave, just simple prep, too much work. And so far, I've pulled through it and I did a really good job. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, even though it's hard to like really um, take the time, and I'm gonna totally butcher the saying, you guys. Like, if you don't make time for wellness, you make time for, you're forced to make time for illness or something like that. I butchered it. Anyway, but I really took that to heart, and I think I prevented potentially being bedbound again because I really like, I gotta lay down, I gotta do this, and just like, okay, I can't make food right now. We're just doing this instead. And I really leaned into it. And, but before I'd be like, oh, I I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't have time. I don't have the, and I learned this time, oh no, you make the time or else you will pay. And I learned, I'd like to say this time, I actually listened to my body and I pulled through, and I was quite pleasantly shocked and surprised and so joyful and happy about it because I thought that I would be bedbound again for months, and but I had to really pull back a lot of things and really take care of myself.
I'm so used to being like go hard or go home. That really literally is my motto. And I have lived it all my life. I'm the oldest of four. I am responsible. I take charge. I get in there. I go hard or go home. That's it. And that does not work with primary progressive MS. That it just knocks me out. But in my head, I'm still go hard or go home girl, and I want to do all the things. Like I want to do all the things, and I'll suffer for it. I don't care. Yeah, and
And
then you
I think
suffer
a lot
for
of
it.
people that have MS are the same. We're like, go-getters. We work really hard. And for us to like stop, we're like, oh, I'll
Hmm.
sleep when I'm, retired or something like that. And I like
Hmm.
now. So I think it was a total overhaul in my life that I had to really pay attention and go, no, you can't, like, this isn't a luxury, this is a necessity in my life now. So,
Yeah. Anyway, at
so
another
oh,
meeting, I'd like to just talk to people about like how you tell your friends. Like it's like kind of like I look at it like coming out of the closet. And I mean, don't no disrespect for anyone that has actually had to come out of the closet in regards to their sexuality, but I feel almost the same for myself about how private and vulnerable and delicate it is. And I don't know how to tell some people because I don't want to not be seen as that strong person. And I know it's late and like there's other people here. I just think that that might be a topic that I might bring up at another meeting,
it sounds like an
unless someone
excellent
has
topic
any
to cover.
easy comments at all.
I don't think so. Just what I said earlier to John, but that was it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Let's go
thanks
ahead
for
and have.
everything, you guys.
I'm just going to say real quick here that our meeting is in 2 weeks, December 27th. And that Hannah, our other one of our moderators, she's having her art class Thursday night, so 2 days from now, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you wanted to join that, sign up, and then you'll get the link. And then let's go back to circle back around to Louie. What did you want to talk about? You said you had something to
Can
vent
I
on.
just add something
Yeah, go
about
ahead.
meetings this week?
Go
We
for it.
also have a Men Speaking Freely meeting this week, which our male MS guys are very, very welcome to attend. Sorry, we don't yet have one of these meetings for our ladies, but we are working on it. And that is at the same time as Hannah's art class. So Louis, if you want to come and join that one, you're very welcome. I wish I mentioned it to John right at the beginning, and Tim isn't here tonight, but I think he
He
knows
was.
about
He
it.
had to. He had to get out early. Yes,
Okay,
work early in the morning on Eastern time. So.
just just saying, and it's a great meeting, as Herb and I can attest. Oh, you're muted,
What else?
Herb. You're muted.
What else could we say?
Okay,
We
Louis.
did.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, yeah. Well, I know it's late and I'm late, but okay. Well, so this is something I struggle with, and really, actually, uh, Jennifer Big Red helped me with this when I was first diagnosed. I remember someone saying, "Hey, you can get a handicap placard," and I remember asking y'all if that's something I should do. I mean, because um, you would never know that I have this, and I remember being in line, like telling my doctor I had the whole spiel for him. Not that I was going to have to convince him, but they figured it out why, like I was gonna ask for one. And he was not even my neurologist. He just said, oh yeah, that way, like when you go to a theme park, you use your energy in the park, not in the parking lot. And I was like, exactly. Like I didn't even have to explain it. And so he wrote the thing, and I remember going to the tax place, and like I was outside with the paper, like scared, wanted to leave, and then I remember the tenacity that Jennifer said, no, you tell them you need this, and I did it. So that got me through the summer because of our summers. But I've struggled with that, because I went on a vacation the other week to celebrate my anniversary of diagnosis, and I learned from the last trip that we can pre-board, and then so I did that. And then this trip, I exhausted myself, like ran myself into the ground, and then learned from another friend, hey, like you can request the wheelchair assistance. And so I did that coming home, because it was in LaGuardia, a huge airport. But I struggle with that because then I was on like YouTube and stuff, and they're called miracle flights, where these like I when I hear that, it's basically they're saying that people are faking disability to get the wheelchair assistance and all that, and I'm like, they kind of sounds like they're describing me because I was okay getting there. It was coming home that I needed help. I don't know. So that kind of just stuck with me because um I was I kind of walked that line, that weird balance where like I'm a cyclist, I can do these things, and then um, something like this happens where I actually do need the help, and so it's hard to I don't know. So that's just something I've been thinking of the last you know forever. Yeah.
It's even harder, Lily, is when you actually get the license plate that says you're handicapped. Because, with the tag, you're not announcing it to the world
Mm-hmm.
that you're disabled. But as soon as you get that plate, you're announcing, hey, I'm disabled. I deserve special parking.
Mm-hmm.
That was hard for me. So
That's
Yeah.
funny.
congratulations.
I was asking about one of those plates the last time I went into the DMV, and the way she talked me out of it was that I can carry my placard with me, but I cannot carry my license plate.
Well, I have a placard for when I'm not in my card, and then I
Right.
have the license plate. So, and
It's
if
interesting. She made it sound like it was one or the other. Huh.
hmm,
No, no,
No,
it
no,
because
you
if
isn't.
you're
should
in
be able.
someone else's car traveling, you can't just use
Right.
your
Right,
vehicle. You
No.
Right.
need to have a placard to go with. Yeah.
right.
Right.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, you should be able to get both. You're allowed two, as far as I know in Colorado, and I'm pretty sure that's across the board that you're allowed two, either two placards or a license plate and a placard. And if you have the license plate, you for sure should be getting a placard because you're not always going to be driving in or being in your car.
Right.
So,
So you
so
see,
that's something.
Jessica, we're all still learning.
Yeah, Jessica, since you're new tonight, did you have any other questions before we stop the recording tonight, or any comments or anything?
Let's see, she went off mute.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was double muted. Um, but I'm I'm still learning apparently with technology. I'm used to Zoom, not having to be on my phone. But Louis, I was saying I asked the question about handicap because like if you saw me walking, you would have no clue I have MS. Like I work out, I like to heavy lift at the gym and so forth. But what you mentioned about your doctor, whoever it was, as I have horrible memory, I can't even remember what you said, but knowing that to save, not use your energy in the walking through a parking lot and use a handicap, so you can actually use your energy in the theme park or whatever, really, really made me think in a whole different way because there's so many times where I am so exhausted that I don't even want to walk through a parking lot, let alone have to go in the store. So now you're making me like double think. Maybe I should look into getting a handicap sticker because it could be so beneficial for me in instances where it's such a huge parking lot and there's no parking except for handicap, and it would save me so much energy and I wouldn't be so exhausted by the time I got through the checkout lane. So thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, I say do it, Yeah. I knew like it was like an accessibility device, like it clicked for me when I left straight from my doctor's to the place, I was kind of excited. And once I got the thing, like the first thing I did was I went to the mall and bought new pants. And I was like, it's because of this that otherwise I didn't feel like going to the mall. And
Right.
it's so I always feel like I have to put a disclaimer, but I know I don't have to with you guys. But I it's primarily for big places like a really big outdoor mall or things um, that I use it. But yeah, that's when it started to click for me. Yeah, so I definitely recommend it because I had this talk with another friend, even like about the pre-boarding, and we always said, our life is already as difficult as it is. Like, if there's one thing I can do to make it a little bit easier, I'm gonna do it. Um, as long as I'm not stepping over it, anyone else in our community. But if there's things there to make stuff easier for us, like I'm down for it. So yeah.
Can I just throw this out here? Louis, you have affected Jennifer, and I think what you have said has really touched her. So thank you for acknowledging Jennifer and making her feel like her voice was heard, even though it has been heard. But I mean, you really touched Jennifer, and I've been watching her this entire time. And I know I can tell that she's really touched that she made that effect on you.
Yeah,
So
I would not have gotten it without her because I remember like the bite and the anger and you get this because I was so like I don't know what people are gonna think of me. Do I really need this? And I was like, I'm in Texas. It's summer's coming. She said, no, go get this. So every time, like every step to the inside that place was like I wanted to leave, and you're like, no, just go.
I
So,
deserve this
yeah,
because I'm going to make my life a little easier.
yeah,
Right.
Just like, I didn't tell the ladies at work because I work for the county, the health department. So you have the two, I want to say witches, who either give out death certificates or birth certificates. Okay, that's their job. Okay, they're not happy people, and I had to use a cane the last few weeks because my legs are hurting, and but it has a really cool flashlight. Okay, and I got my little Buddha hanging down with it, so it's whatever. And so one of the ladies was like, I call her the death lady because she gives out the death certificates. But um, she was like, "Yeah, I seen you had a handicapped sticker," and I was like, "Yes." I said, it's the life of the MS. You never know. And she was like, oh, well, you don't look sick. That's the first time I've ever heard that. I've heard you guys say it, but that's the first time I said, well, do I need to limp around a little more? Because, and I wasn't going to let it affect me because they have no idea. So I was telling my MA, who again is amazing. I love her to death. And when she sees me, having a moment, she's like, go treat yourself. So she's like, they're about to catch these hands. Not really, but it's funny. But if you could save, I go by the spoon theory so much that if I could save my energy, I'm going to. Because, we don't deserve any of this. We don't deserve, feeling depleted and feeling horrible. And so we deserve that. Woo. It's been emotional. It's okay. Woo. Turn away. But anyways, yeah. So, Louie, you keep doing it. You fight to be happy and keep going because I know I do. Everyone. So.
You too, Jennifer.
Louis, I just want to say that you should use it whenever you need it, man. You should use it when you go to the movie theater. It doesn't just have to be to a big mall or somewhere where it's going to save you a walk. Use it when you need it. That's what it's there for. I mean, nothing makes me more furious than when I see people parking in a handicapped space and they don't have a handicap sticker that they're showing. It makes me, I shouldn't say handicapped, disabled, excuse me. But I get crazy when I see people parking in disabled spaces. I had an argument with a guy at the lake a couple of weeks ago because he was parking, and he said something to me, and I said, "Hey, you're not disabled. You don't need to park there, right?" And it makes me mad. So you deserve it. You've got it. And you use it, man. And if it makes your life easier, God bless you. That's what it's supposed to be about.
Especially if you get to that point where you really need that spot. I'm there now. When I first asked for it, I said, it's not like I'm going to park in the handicap spot at the grocery store, but it's for when I need it, and now I really need it. And I have to say, I'm logged on twice because you disappeared from my computer and I couldn't even I can't find you. And I thought, well, if I log on again, there'll be two of me. And I can't log off because I don't know where it is. So now I'm on my tablet, but I just didn't want to say I just disappeared.
And the other thing I want to say is, I had an experience which really helped me with a lot of our groups, which is in August I needed a wheelchair, and I was reluctant to get it, and people said, if you need that wheelchair, you should use it. And I was 3 weeks out from having a new hip, and I could have struggled through, but I asked for a wheelchair, and boy, it was great, and I'm so pleased I did it. And I think if you need help with your disability, whether it's temporary or permanent, don't be afraid to ask for it because it makes a difference in your life.
Actually, Rick, I had my first wheelchair ride today. They
And
wheeled
how
me.
was it?
I didn't really enjoy it because I was afraid I was going to meet my colleagues in the hall. But I
So for
did.
those of you who I'm
Wait a minute.
sure Herb introduced himself, but Herb is on our board and he's living with advanced prostate cancer and he's been in a huge amount of pain recently. So he works at the NIH and he checked himself into the NIH hospital today so they can figure out where this pain is coming from. And um, and he gets it, you know. What if I see somebody? Herb's office is 3 minutes from his hospital room. So what if he sees somebody that he works with every day? Well, he needed it. He needed it.
Can
Actually,
I
So,
just
I need
can
the
I just
cat.
can I just circle back to Louie for just a second? Because I also want to say, one, good for you for getting your sticker, but two, I'm with you. I don't look disabled. I walk down the street. I look perfectly fine. And one of my girlfriends, one of my best friends, when I got my handicap sticker and I took it with us when we went somewhere, and she looked at me and she was like, "You're going to use your handicap sticker?" And I said, "Yeah,
Cheating,
that's why
right?
I got it." And she's like, "Well, can you limp a little bit or something?" And so Rick, kind of back to what you were talking about, be a little careful about who you confront with a handicap sticker. It is a thing that people confront. You look so good, even if they have a handicap sticker. Why are you parking in a handicap spot? And so it's a really very strange dynamic that some of us have to deal with when it comes to using these things that we absolutely need just
I
because
think
we don't
no,
look like we need
I,
it. I'm not missing a leg.
I
right.
think
No,
what Rick
Andrea,
was trying
I
to say
get it.
was
I get it. I really get it. But in this case, this was a young man who didn't have a handicap sticker and didn't have a
I didn't
handicap.
mean that you did the wrong thing. I
No, I know
and
that.
yes,
I
you
know that.
should. Yes,
I know that.
but
But when people park in handicapped spaces and they
oh, it
don't
makes
have a
me mad
handicap
too. Trust
sticker
me, it does. Yes.
and they don't have a handicap parking space.
Oh,
By
I'm
the
only
way,
going to be in there for a minute.
yes, right. And
I
and
deal with that. I
and
deal with
and
that
by the
all
way,
the time.
I have been reprimanded many times for using the word handicap because um, in the UK that is considered politically incorrect because the origin of that term is handing cap, meaning that they were out begging for money.
Oh,
And so I actually use disabled because I've been trained to use disabled instead of handicap. And I just get mad when I see somebody parking in a disabled parking space that doesn't have the credentials to park there. Now
I
they
well,
may be they may
you
have a
don't,
disability, but then they got to do what Louis did and go get the right credentials.
but you don't
Mhm.
do what, you don't live in Oakland. So I deal with that all the time, especially at the pool. They actually
Yeah,
have 3 spots. And then I have a problem because if somebody really needed the van spot, but it's like we come for a specific time. And so sometimes, I know my swim buddies, we park in the cross hatches of it, but here's my experience. I do confront. I have to size up the situation. Am I going to get hit? Am I going to get hurt? Am I going to do what? And I do confront people. And here's how you know the difference. And Louis, you will not be the person who doesn't do it because sometimes I'll get out of my car and I hobble with my walker so I can really like make it look, and I go, this is a handicap spot. It just depends on who it is. Often I say, are you handicapped? I need the spot. Well, I'll move. And it's like, well, you've already taken 10 minutes of my swim time now. And I have to worry, am I going to get hurt? But here's how the difference is. When somebody is in the spot, or sometimes they are in the spot and they don't say it, and then they see me hobbling and they'll say, I'm disabled, I'm sorry, I am disabled. I don't have the credentials like you're saying or whatever, but they're sympathetic. And then there was somebody in a but it's often, men that are smoking cigarettes and they're on their phone or they're listening to the radio or having fun. And then one was a young girl sitting on the passenger side. There was a whole bunch, and I just said, this is the handicap spot. And she said, "I'm handicapped, bitch." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's how we all talk to each other." So there is like, I've gotten the bitch, the defensive stuff, but usually when, so if you just even say, because I often could look at Louis and go, "Why is he in the handicap spot?" and give him a dirty look. So if you get that dirty look, just say, "I know I look okay, but I'm not." And that will satisfy most of us.
Yeah.
And yes, whoever said, because I still can't find you on my computer. And I can't even get out. So I hope the meeting actually ends at a certain point, or I'll be stuck in Zoom land because I can't get out. And because I don't know where it is. But I have the placard, and I have the plate and the placard, and especially with MS, why you want the plate? Because you have to remember to put up the placard, and you have to remember to take it with you, and you have to remember to take it down. So better it should be in your, on your vehicle.
The funny
And
thing is, my husband still will put the placard up even though we have the plate. So we're like double announcing, "Hey, we're disabled. Somebody's disabled." But he puts the placard up. I was like, "Why do you put the placard up?" "Oh, no, habit, because we had the placard for so long." Until I finally broke down and said, "Fine, get the plate." And
He doesn't want to
so
get the
he's
guy.
but he
Andrea, I
still
know
puts
what
the placard up. And I was like, "Stop putting the placard up. We got the license plate." I forget.
Better safe than
Andrea, you were
sorry.
talking about how you might not look handicapped, and before I had so much trouble with my knee, I just my fatigue was terrible. So if I was going to go when I used to be able to go to the mall and walk about, I know that I could get there, but getting back was going to be a challenge. And
Right.
I always felt guilty, and I always felt like I should limp or something because I thought, yeah, someone's watching me. And even though I have a pass, like who knows, it could be somebody else's pass. You don't know. And I always felt so self-conscious that I look so fine. I never had anyone confront me, but I had that inner feeling. Now I have a cane. I obviously am handicapped. I walk, like you can see it. So I'm almost relieved because, I actually look like I belong there, which I don't want to look like I belong there, but I do. So it's like this double-edged sword that I'm happy that I do, but I'm not happy that I do. Anyway, that's just trippy. So
I was at a water park last summer with a group of people. I spent all my time in the lazy river, and my friend had driven, and we had parked on of course, the other side of the parking lot. And we got in there perfectly fine. I went around the lazy river perfectly fine. And then when we left at mid-afternoon, height of the sun, very hot, very humid, black asphalt to walk over, I didn't make it to the car.
mm,
And that's how I realized, oh, I need help. And so, if we can convince you to do that without sprawling in the middle of a parking lot in front of everybody, get your handicap sticker. Or, yeah, whatever word you want to use for it.
Does anyone else have anything else they want to add before I turn off the recording?